and start corroding the walls. Oops, I forgot to record. Make a guess, anyone?
Oxygen?
Yes, you have a point, but that's not the main thing. Everything needs to react with oxygen. What oxidizes and becomes so acidic starts to corrode your body? What happens if you drink a lot of alcohol and eat a lot of cake and you have a stomach ache? It's the same thing. So sugar, when you eat sugar, carbohydrate, wheat, anything that turns into sugar, they break down and they make the whole body and blood very acidic to the point, because you eat too much sugar, that it corrodes the inner of your arteries. So to heal that wound, the liver sends the cholesterol.
The LDL, right?
Correct. And it needs time to heal. Before all the coating is gone, you have another muffin because it's now 3 p.m., 2 p.m. Right? That's what happens. And it just keep building on and on and on and on and on. And then one day, those blood clots are so thick, the blood cannot pass through. Bang, stroke, heart disease. That's it.
So it's like a little scab forming in the arteries.
That's exactly right. And once they open up the arteries of people having stroke and heart disease, they take those scabs and put it in the lab. They find out what is this. Oh,
Right.
LDL, very bad. But they didn't tell us the whole story. What creates those scabs in the first place? So that's a little nice story there about cholesterol, that we really understand what it really is and not be so scared about it. Questions, thoughts, comments?
First of all, that's very mind-blowing.
Yes, I'm glad you say that.
Yeah, I mean, to know why the cholesterol is there and that it's not bad of itself, but it's got a purpose and a place.
Yes, correct. Every single one of our cell membrane is made of cholesterol.
Right.
Otherwise, we cannot separate the cell inside structure from the outside. All the cell will be float, the cell structure will be floating everywhere.
Brain cells too, right?
Brain cells too, nerve cells too. In fact, in our nerve cells, the brain, the brain is this white part and some gray part. It's 85% cholesterol. So we have a lot of studies have shown that babies who don't eat fats, like good healthy fish and things like that, they're gonna grow no brain. They don't do so well in school. No fats, no brain.
Wow.
When they tell you to eat low fat, meaning no fat, no brain.
Right.
Yes.
And it's like the medical establishment has been telling us to stay off cholesterol for like decades.
Well, we had the question to ask here is, who did the research? Who are those people? Who funded the research? In fact, I'll ask this question about every single research.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know the root of the problem. How should we be eating? How should we eat? Make anybody have a wild guess? What should we be eating more? So we get more, so we actually make more good quality cholesterol. And what should we be eating less? So we don't create the cut to have LDL deposit there in the first place.
Fish?
Yes. You should be eating fish.
Avocado?
Avocado, yes. That's right. Butter. Lamb brain. Bacon, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Blueberries.
Blueberries. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say blueberry directly give you a good cholesterol, but blueberries have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and they are essential for all the processes of forming the cholesterol, traveling to different places, and fueling the cells. That's right. That is all correct. And one thing I want to point out is, if you're eating meat, you really should be. You want to question what the animal eats. So anything grass-fed lamb, beef, pork is obviously not grass-fed, they're not the best thing. But chicken, make sure they're pasture-fed. They have very, very high level of omega-3 fats, which is also one of the basic building blocks of our cholesterol. Not the whole of it. It's mostly saturated fat, which is fat from animals. Okay, so the animals that eat grass, which is what they're meant to eat, going to give you really good healthy cholesterol. And at the same time, it doesn't spike your blood sugar, which means your blood will have less chance of getting corroded with those acidic sugar. Then you're really on a very, very good, very good state. So what should we be avoiding?
Sugar, you mentioned?
Right, sugar.
So,
It doesn't matter brown sugar. Doesn't matter it's brown sugar, a raw sugar, a white sugar, or a green sugar. Sugar is sugar. Okay?
Okay, any sugar.
Any sugar is sugar. Whether it's fruit sugar like apple fructose, maltose, lactose. Lactose is sugar from milk. Doesn't matter what it is, it's sugar. Just remember that. Sugar is sugar. Natural sugar, still sugar. Blood sugar, still sugar.
Oh, really? Even fruits?
Even fruits. Because at the end of the day, fruits contain a sugar called fructose.
Yeah, one sugar.
Okay.
Here, What
Yeah.
about honey?
Honey, sugar.
Oh,
Honey is basically made of fructose as well. Still sugar. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
overtaking it.
Yes, everyone has a different threshold of how much sugar they can take in a day. Just to give you an idea, an average man or average woman, I think man is about 8 grams of sugar per day, and woman about 6 grams. Have you guys seen those cube sugar or teaspoon? Yeah, one teaspoon is about equal to 1 cube. It's about 4 grams.
4 grams.
For me, one day, 1.5 teaspoon is max for me. So what happens if you go for a bubble tea? How many grams of sugar in that? Probably
1 week
50?
supply, I suppose.
Yeah, then your 2 weeks too much. In one day, you ate in your 2 weeks quota of sugar. Okay, so and what the body does, they take the 6 grams and use it every day, and the remainder 42 grams, where does it go? The best form of storage is fat. Yeah, so the body turns those extra sugar into fat and put it on your belly. This is why you can never button up your jeans. That's it.
Okay.
I want to touch on the redox signaling molecule technology. So in the topic of cholesterol, who knows what's a redox signaling molecule first of all? Whoever.
Pardon?
Anything. So I say I want to touch on the redox signaling molecule.
Yep.
When we talk about cholesterol. Who knows what am I talking about? Okay, if you don't.
I just know that redox stands for oxygen reduction. Is
Correct.
that right?
You're very, very clever. You listened to your teacher in high school. Yes. So redox is a short form for oxidation reduction.
Oxidation reduction.
Yes.
Not oxygen
you know
reduction.
What oxidation reduction is? It's kind of like it's a reaction that oppose each other. So oxidation means something oxidized. Like you put an iron out the very moist place, they grow mold. Sorry, they get rusted. That's oxidized.
Yep.
And reduction is the reverse of that.
Oh.
So a rusted iron that gets unrusted. Did you know that it's possible? So all there is the iron actually lost an electron. So they call it oxidation.
Sorry, you broke up for a moment there.
Oh, sorry. So oxidation simply means the rusting process, the iron actually lose an electron. That's all it is. When you look at it under a microscope of a rusted iron, they just lose an electron. And reduction is the opposite. Okay, something gain an electron is a reduction. That's all it is. So what is it got to do with the redox molecule? And what is it got to do with cholesterol? Sorry, I hope you can still hear me. The bus is a bit noisy.
I can hear
Now?
you pretty clear.
Okay, good. So in the trillions of our cells, we actually produce these redox signaling molecules. It's part of our cells. And this redox signaling molecule we produce these molecules to maintain balance in life. So for example, right, not just iron get rusty, not just iron gets oxidized, our body gets oxidized. So when our skin oxidizes, we grow older, we look older, they dry out, they have wrinkles. Okay. For example, when our cells oxidize, they become dysfunctional. They stop doing what they're supposed to do. Okay. Things like let's say if you have a backache, you have a sore shoulder, something's oxidized or reduced. Okay, it's all about oxidation in our body. And then things that there are processes in our body that reduced. That means they gain an electron because there's an electron floating there and they're unstable and they just gain the extra electron. These are all chemical processes in our body. I don't want to get into too complicated, but basically what I want to say is these processes are very natural in our body because our body is always a changing state. Okay,
Correct.
and other than focusing on eating right, you also want to make sure that the quality of your cells are good. They're producing the right amount of energy for you. You're not getting that 3 o'clock slump because your body just not able to fuel what you want to do in everyday life. So oxidation. Okay, so how?
Okay.
Yes. So it's imperative that you eat enough nutrients such as fats, cholesterol, protein, vegetables, minerals, and vitamins, so that your actual hardware, which is your body, your bones, your muscles, your tissue, your cells, your molecules, the quality of these, big structures and nano things are good enough to support all those processes. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I ask what about carbohydrates?
Carbohydrate, good question.
Like I like rice.
Like rice.
I like bread.
Carbohydrate is essential for life because they are the quickest way to turn into glucose. Okay?
Yep. The quickest to turn into glucose.
Correct. So if you want to go for a quick run, right, your carbohydrate is your quick fuel. So you can pick up.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a quick drag with someone and win the race. 100 meters. Let's go. Bang. You win because you got more carbohydrate in your muscles. But the thing about carbohydrate that nobody tells you is, number one, there's plentiful carbohydrate from vegetables. Number two, our body has a capability to make glucose, which is the carbohydrate, from fats and protein. That's actually the preferred way of fueling our body. The body actually prefers to make glucose from fats and protein. It's made in the liver.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And you
Glucose
might be
made in the
wondering,
liver.
yes.
Okay.
Just like rice. So the Asian people has been eating rice for thousands of years. Also the Indians, right? But what you don't know is
Yeah.
the rice that we used to eat and the rice that we eat now, they are fundamentally different. You know what's different?
Obviously.
So years and years
GMOs.
ago, the rice that we
Genetically
eat
modified.
are from the field. We might not have so many factories to grind them down into white rice to take away the jam, the nutrients, the shell, the all that stuff. There's not so much technology. So what you gotta do is to eat the whole rice. So when you eat the whole rice, more than 50% of that grain of rice is a fiber. Fiber does not contribute to any of blood sugar, does not trigger insulin. All it does is it gives your bowels the bulk, you know, to get stuff out of your body, the toxins. Dietary fiber, very important. Versus the rice now. You go eat in a restaurant or you buy rice, or even if you buy whole grain rice, brown rice, it's not the same kind of rice that we ate hundreds and thousands of years ago. It's just different. And again, there's a reason they do that. The more nutrients you remove from something, the longer the shelf life is.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you
Longer the
ever
shelf
seen a fresh fish? What
Yeah.
happens if you put a fresh fish on the bench for 2 days?
It goes bad very fast.
Very fast. What happens if you put a very dry cracker on the bench for 2 days?
Nothing.
You still can eat it, right? Yeah. The difference is the nutritional level. Next time you take the fish, turn it to the back of the packet,
Yeah.
and you take the cookies, you compare. Okay? Only you compare the protein, you compare the vitamins, the minerals, the fats. I can guarantee you the cookies will have nothing but carbohydrates. So that the shelf life is longer. So that's the issue with rice nowadays. And the number one thing that causes LDL to increase is refined carbohydrate. Many studies have shown a direct link and a direct between eating large amount of refined carbohydrate and the level of LDL in the blood. They test people and they isolate them certain diets. That's the deal with cholesterol. Interesting, isn't it?
Nice.
Very
So-
interesting.
Yeah.
So we should eat more proteins and fats.
We should eat more proteins and fats. We should eat
Proteins,
more
fats,
proteins and fats.
vegetables. Cut down on the
Proteins,
carbs.
fats, vegetables. Okay, so with nutrients, there's only 5 of them. There's only 5 things that the body needs, nothing else. Number 1 is fats. Number 2 is protein. Number 3 is carbohydrate, but we only need a small amount. Number 3, number 4, we also need a small amount, which is your vitamins and minerals. Nothing else. You don't need anything else for life. So all you need to do is just eat things that contains these things. Everything else, you don't need it. You don't need food coloring. You don't need trans fat. You don't need, you don't need sugar. Yeah. You don't need a lot of things. That's that. So,
Yeah.
I bet a lot of you eat out. Okay, I just want to also quickly share how do you eat when you eat out. Is you look for whole food. What is whole food? Anybody want to make a guess what is whole food?
Food that comes in a whole form.
Yes, quite
Like an
similar.
apple.
Yes, you're,
Like
yes.
chicken.
Like if you can see the food
Instead of
like
nuggets.
how it looks like in the field, you are on the right track. Okay. So if you eat rice, it still looks like rice. Not too bad, not such a bad idea. If you eat broccoli, it still looks like how it looks like on the field. But
Right.
when you eat things like potato chips, do they look like a potato? Not really.
No.
Like cornflakes, do they look like corn? Not really.
Nope.
They'll be flat and crispy. So that's when you know it's processed food. You want to look for whole food when you're out, which is not too hard to find in Malaysia. I love Malaysian food.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone past 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyone else had anything to share? It's just that cholesterol is a really big topic. There's more to know.
Very informative.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm really glad that you find that very informative. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Adeline, and I think I missed out the part where you said how a scab is formed in the artery that causes a stroke. Could you like reiterate that part a little bit?
Yes, sure. So we know that the only thing that creates acidic environment and causes cut is refined carbohydrate. And in particular, a refined carbohydrate in its simplest form, which is glucose, which is sugar, because sugar, when it oxidizes in our blood, it breaks down, it produces a lot of acid. That's just what it happens. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So like very high acidity corrodes our blood vessel. Our blood vessel is made out of meat. You know, we marinate meat with alcohol, we marinate meat with sugar, because they break them down, become more tender.
Yeah,
That's
break down the
what happens to our blood.
proteins.
Yes,
Right.
correct. So when you have your blood vessel have this kind of wound, the body sends the LDL to cover it like a blood clot.
I
You know,
see.
when you cut yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
And then before that needs time to heal. Before that heals, right? You have another muffin, there is more to cover that clot again on both sides. And then you do it again, you have another pizza, and somebody offer you a bag of chips. It just keep happening until one day the gap is so small, blood cannot flow through. What happens? That's your stroke. Blood cannot flow is a huge deal. You might not be able to move one limb suddenly. You might feel a pain, you can't breathe because blood cannot flow through. That's all it is. And it usually doesn't happen with any warning. Does that answer your question, Adeline?
Hi, Adeline. We can't hear you. By the line.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Oh,
Whoop.
line problem.
No problem. That's
it
okay.
dropped.
Yeah. She's
I'm sure she
disconnected.
can watch the recording.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
You can watch
Alright.
the recording.
Yes. I'm
She's
so
actually standing
glad.
here next to me.
What about the rest? Any question you may ask Dawn now?
Otherwise, we'll conclude.
Yeah.
No questions. I hope this was enjoyable for you. Once again, very
Yes, thank
grateful
you.
whoever's online.
Yep.
We'll see you next Sunday and we'll talk about gout. If you have gout,
Dawn,
please.
thank
yes.
you very much
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dawn.
for sending me the
Thank-
link. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for being with
Thanks,
us.
thanks to my friend Yuki who come today. Thanks,
Yeah.
Yuki.
Yuki.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Yuki.
Nice to
Yuki.
meet
Good to
you
know
all.
Yuki and
Lulu, nice to meet
Christine
you.
Thank
found
you.
the info is
Good to
very
meet you.
informative.
Very informative.
Dawn.
Thank you, Christy.
Dawn,
Thanks,
Dawn,
Christine.
Yeah, Peter
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
I have another group in Melbourne. We call ourselves COVID Recovery. We talk about
that's-
different topics. So could I share or invite them to
Yes,
this
please.
every Sunday? We've got
Yes,
ladies who
please.
does Zumba, we talk health and all that.
Ooh,
So it'd be good to invite the ladies to come and learn more about
Zumba.
health, because
Yes,
a lot
please.
of them say they are healthy, but they have a lot of other issues as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, please, Christine. So every
do?
every Sunday before that, I'll paste you the link, and you can feel free to share.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but
Thank
let
you,
me know
Christine.
beforehand what is the topic.
I-
Hi, Lou.
Yeah. So
Bye,
next week we'll
Christine.
talk about gout.
Cool.
Okay.
Great.
We'll do.
Great.
Thank you.
I have gone myself for many, many years. Will be great for
Thanks
me.
for you, Nick.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
read out.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Christine.
thanks,
Thanks,
Anthony.
Flo. Thanks, Yuki. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Christine. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye,
goodbye.
Nick. Thank you.
Bye.
See you all soon. Please stay safe.
See
Stay
you.
safe.